Let me ask you a question. Let's say you're wandering around in the middle of nowhere. Now, why you're wandering around in the middle of nowhere, I don't know. Let's just say you watched Forrest Gump and felt inspired to run across the country. Twice. So anyway, you're running across the country, passing through the middle of nowhere, and you stumble upon a treasure chest. Okay, I know this isn't really plausible, but just go along with me here. So you find a treasure chest and you open it, and you find a bunch of gold coins inside. There's also a note that says the treasure is cursed, and if you take any of the gold, you will die a horrible death. What would you do? Maybe I've seen Pirates of the Caribbean one too many times, but I would not touch a thing that could even remotely be cursed. Here are some other supposedly cursed treasures from around the world. Number 1, the Charles Island Curse. In this case, it's not just the treasure that's cursed, but the entire island the treasure is buried on. This small island off the coast of Milford, Connecticut is also known as Thrice Cursed Island. First, the chief of the Pagaset tribe considered the area sacred and said, "Any shelter will crumble to the earth, and he shall be cursed." He said this when Europeans tried to settle on this island, and he was right. No buildings have ever stood there for any long periods of time. The infamous pirate Captain Kidd was also said to have cursed the island in 1699 during his last voyage. It is his treasure that is said to be buried there. In 1721, a third curse was placed upon the island, supposedly by the Mexican emperor, whose riches were stolen and allegedly hidden there by sailors. In 1850, 2 treasure hunters did find a chest, but legend has it, when they opened it, they were greeted by a flaming skull and were then either killed by the spirits or went insane. Either way, no other treasure has been found, and people often report mysterious lights and sounds emanating from the island. Number 2, Oak Island Money Pit. The mystery of Oak Island was first discovered by teenage boys in 1795 who saw strange lights near the tiny island off the coast of Nova Scotia, Canada. Upon further investigation, the boys noticed a freshly dug hole. Because pirates were rampant in that area, it seemed possible that a large amount of treasure was buried in the hole, so the boys started to dig. But the further they dug down, the stranger it got. There were wooden barriers, layers of coconut shells, and even an etched stone with a strange code, which was deciphered to read, 40 feet below, 2 million pounds are buried. People from all over the world have been trying to find that elusive treasure, including President Franklin Delano Roosevelt. But no one has uncovered who buried what or why, and many people have died trying to find these answers. One legend has it that 7 people must die before the money is found. To this day, 6 have died so far. So, only need 1 more. So if you go digging for that treasure, bring a friend. Number 3, the Lost Dutchman Mine. Actually been there before, not the mine, but the Superstition Mountains of Arizona, where a fabled treasure is said to lie along with a notorious curse. The Apache tribe that lived there knew the area was filled with gold, but their own legend of the vengeful thunder god, not Thor, convinced them to stay away from it. The Spaniard Francisco Vasquez de Coronado attempted to mine for it, but when his men began turning up dead and mutilated, he gave the mountains their ominous name. The area became a heaven for gold seekers. However, where the name and the curses come from is associated with Jacob Waltz, who wasn't a Dutchman, but rather a Deutschman. He was from Germany, but the name stuck. After 20 years of searching, Waltz claimed to have found the magical vines of gold, but died before revealing its location. In 1931, treasure hunter Adolf Ruth disappeared while searching for the mine. His skull was found 2 years later, along with a note which read, "I came, I saw, I conquered," in Latin, suggesting that he did find the gold before his death. Since then, many others have died trying to find this elusive treasure. The most recent being Jesse Capon, a bellhop from Denver whose body was discovered in 2002, 3 years after he left on an expedition to find the mine. Number 4, the curse of the Ember Room. In the final days of World War II, there was plenty of pillaging of gold and treasures by both sides of the fight. One of the treasures was an entire room. The Amber Room was dubbed the eighth wonder of the world and was a gift to Peter the Great in 1716, celebrating peace between Russia and Prussia. It was adorned floor to ceiling with mosaics, with walls made from 20 different colors of amber. In 1941, the Nazis seized control of the room and dismantled it for safekeeping. After being displayed in a museum in 1943, the Amber Room disappeared. Since then, people associated with the room have supposedly fallen under its curse. The museum curators, Alfred Rode and his wife, died of typhus, and their bodies vanished along with the doctor who signed their death certificate. Russian General Gusev, who had been linked to the room, also died in a mysterious car crash. And the freakiest case of all, George Stein, one of the most prominent Amber Room hunters, was found dead in a forest, naked, with his stomach sliced open with a scalpel. Number 5. The Kohinoor Diamond. The Curse of the Kohinoor, one of the oldest and most famous jewels in the world, goes back to 1306. This was the year the diamond, whose name means Mountain of Light, had its first recorded appearance. The Hindu text accompanying the 105-carat diamond, once the largest in the world, read, "He who owns this diamond will own the world, but will also know all its misfortunes. Only God or a woman can wear it with impunity." This actually came true, as many male rulers who owned it perished. When Queen Victoria was given the diamond in July of 1850, she was so reportedly unimpressed, she had it reshaped and cut into smaller diamonds. Still, in accordance with the curse, no male heirs have been allowed to wear them. The diamonds are still on display in the Tower of London. Number 6. The Ark of the Covenant. The Ark of the Covenant is a holy relic said to contain the broken tablets of the Ten Commandments. It was also said to be a means of holy communication. As such, it is believed to have great powers, but when in the wrong hands, it was said to bring terrible curses. In ancient writings, there were rules about handling the ark. The poles holding it should not be removed, the ark should be carried on the shoulders, and whoever touches the ark shall die. There are many more stories of the wrath of the ark in the Bible. People even to this day still search for clues to where it may reside. But my question is, even if you do find it, how are you gonna touch it? Number 7. Qin Shi Huang's tomb. Here's one of the oldest known tombs that may never be opened. China's first emperor, Qin Shi Huang, died on September 10th, 2010 BC, burying with him hundreds of slaves, concubines, gold, and jewels, as well as thousands of incredibly detailed terracotta statues. The site is actually larger than the Great Pyramid, and while many rooms and areas have been excavated, the actual mausoleum holding the great emperor remains off limits. Why? Well, there are writings recording numerous booby traps protecting the area. Also, the site is surrounded by a thick river of mercury that, if penetrated, toxins could be released that would affect the entire area. Therefore, in the 50 years they've been exploring the tomb, researchers are still too afraid to look inside. Number 8. King Tut's tomb. The so-called Curse of the Pharaohs is well known. Essentially, the claim is that anyone who disturbs one of the ancient kings of Egypt will die a horrible death. Perhaps the most famous example in the instigating incident of this rumor was due to the death of George Herbert, who financed a project to unseal King Tut's tomb. Here's how he died. A mosquito bit him. Yeah, seriously. Not an army of mosquitoes. One mosquito bit him. Then he died. Well, he cut the bite when he was shaving and it got infected and then he died. But still, this guy was taken down by one mosquito. See, this is why I never mess with anything that might be cursed. And my philosophy on curses is pretty simple. Why risk it? Anyway, let me know what you would do if you did find a treasure and it's cursed. Would you take it? Would you leave it behind? Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. See ya later.